John Steinbeck told his friend and editor, Pascal Covici, that a key to understanding the entire novel is the letter at the end of chapter 4. So you cannot fully appreciate the depth of East of Eden unless you have carefully read and reread and gone back and read this letter at the end of chapter 4. Now, it's not the only letter that Charles has written Adam. So Charles makes a habit of writing Adam. Steinbeck says that they have grown closer as a result of these letters because Charles is more himself through writing than he is in person. We get a very important piece of information right before this letter, and that is that their father has moved to Washington, D.C., and the reason he's moved to Washington, D.C., besides the career move, is that Charles's mother and Adam's stepmother has passed away from that consumption, from that tuberculosis she's had. So wife number 2, Alice, is also dead. So we've met 3 women so far in the novel, and 2 of them have already passed away, leaving a gaping hole in both Adam and Charles's and Cyrus's life. So before going through this letter, just point out that important thing in the novel has occurred. Adam kept one letter from his brother, not because he understood it completely, because it seemed to have a covered meaning he could not get at. So Steinbeck wants to set the expectation that the meaning of this letter will not be apparent because even Adam, the original recipient of the letter, it had a covered meaning to him that he couldn't quite get at. So if anything doesn't make sense to you, to us completely, then we're in good company because the same is true for Adam. Dear brother Adam, the letter said, I take my pen in hand to hope you are in good health. He always started this way to ease himself gently into the task of writing. So if you have to ease yourself gently into the task of writing, that could only mean that expressing yourself doesn't come naturally to you. And so any sort of emoting is difficult for Charles to do. So he has to warm up to the task of writing. I have not had your answer to my last letter, but I presume you have other things to do. Ha ha. The rain came wrong and damned the apple blossoms. I can't help but think in a novel entitled East of Eden, if there's any allusion to apple blossoms being damned as a result of rain, that has to be some sort of biblical allusion to the fall when he pairs the words apple and damned, because of course that's what happened in the Garden of Eden. An apple led to damnation. There won't be many to eat next winter, but I will save what I can. Winter, of course, the season of death, the wages of sin, death. Tonight I clean the house, and it is wet and soapy and maybe not any cleaner. How do you suppose Mother kept it the way she did? It does not look the same. Something settles down on it. I don't know what, but it will not scrub off. But I have spread the dirt around more evenly anyways. Ha ha. What a statement, what a Macbeth-esque statement about the human condition. There is a dirtiness, and no matter what Charles tries to do, like a muddy snowball, the only thing he can do is just add more dirt to the dirt. He can only spread the dirt around. He can't atone. He can't redeem himself for his sin of wanting to kill his brother. No matter how much he tries to clean, the house's dirtiness is a symbol itself of the lack of atonement. Did Father write you anything about this trip? He's gone clean out to San Francisco and California for an encampment of the Grand Army. The Secretary of War is going to be there, and Father is to introduce him. But this is not any great shucks to Father. He has met the President 3-4 times and even been to supper to the White House. I would like to see the White House. Maybe you and me can go together when you come home. Father could put us up for a few days, and he would be wanting to see you anyways. Couple of things there. Bad things happen to good people in East of Eden, and good things happen to bad people in East of Eden. So of all the people who deserve to meet with presidents, Cyrus Trask should probably not be one of those people, yet he seems to be a pretty gruff hard to love dude, and yet good things happen to him in his life, at least career-wise. And then Charles still hasn't gotten over the Genesis 4 level diss by his father and says, well, he wouldn't want to see me, but he would be wanting to see you anyways if we went and visited him. Now Charles still thinking about himself. I think I better look around for a wife. This is a good farm, and even if I'm no bargain, there's girls could do worse than this farm. What do you think? You did not say if you are going to come live home when you get out of the army. I hope so. I miss you. So Charles is lonely. He is writing to his brother. His mother has died. His father has moved away, and his brother is in the army. And so now Charles finds himself alone. Presumably, we don't hear about any friends of Charles, and he longs for a wife. So therefore, he says also that he misses his brother too. Key here. The writing stopped there. There was a scratch on the page and a splash of ink, and then it went on in pencil, but the writing was different. So does Charles have a split personality, the pen personality, and now the pencil personality? Is there going to be a turn of more honesty here? Because the writing is going to be more clear. We'll see. Is this a second personality of Charles now speaking? In pencil, it said, later. Well, right there the pen gave out. One of the points broke off. I'll have to buy another pen point in the village, rusted right through. The words began to flow more smoothly. I guess I should wait for a new pen point and not write with a pencil. Only I was sitting here in the kitchen with the lamp on, and I guess I got to thinking, and it come on late, after 12, I guess, but I never looked. All right, so it's midnight. Ominous. Old Black Joe started crowing out in the hen house. So there's a black crow cooing, cawing. It's dark, it's midnight, and there's a black crow. Could there be any more Halloween type image than this? Then Mother's rocking chair cricked for all the world like she was sitting in it. So he's being haunted at midnight with a black crow in his house. You know I don't take truck with that, but it set me minding backwards. You know how you do sometimes. I guess I'll tear this letter up maybe, because what's the good of writing stuff like this? Yet Charles didn't tear the letter up, and so the honest Charles perhaps is writing now in pencil. The manic, haunted, dark, midnight, black crow Charles feels haunted. The words began to race now, as though they couldn't get out fast enough. If I'm to throw it away, I'd just as well set it down, the letter said. It's like the whole house was alive and had eyes everywhere, and like there was people behind the door just ready to come in if you looked away. It kind of makes my skin crawl. So there's shame. There's the fear of being exposed. Adam and Eve sewed fig leaves together to hide their nakedness from each other, and they hid behind trees to hide themselves from God. And Charles feels as though there are eyes all over the house, even behind the door, that he's going to be found out. He's going to be exposed for who he is. Not the same as guilt, though. It doesn't seem as though he feels bad morally for what he's done. Rather, he fears being found out. I mean, I never understood, well, why our father did it. I mean, why didn't he like that knife I bought for him on his birthday? Why didn't he? It was a good knife, and he needed a good knife. If he had used it or even honed it or took it out of his pocket and looked at it, that's all he had to do. If he'd liked it, I wouldn't have took out after you. So if you'll remember, after Adam and Eve fall into sin, what happens? Adam says, the woman you gave me, she took and ate. And Eve says, the serpent, he told me lies. And so there's always blame shifting, and Charles will not accept the moral responsibility, the moral failure of beating up his brother. No, 4 times he wants to say, 4 times he begins to say, no, it's our dad's fault. I'm not the problem. Our dad is the problem. I had to take out after you. Seems like to me my mother's chair is rocking a little. Charles still haunted. It's just the light. I don't take any truck with that. Seems like to me there's something not finished. Seems like when you half finished a job and can't think of what it was, something didn't get done. So Charles, is he alluding to the fact that, like Cain in Genesis 4, he should have finished the job and killed Abel? Or, doubtful but possible, I guess, is he saying that Cyrus should have finished the job and killed him if he would have found him at the bar? So Charles has the sense that the story isn't complete, that evil should have triumphed over good and he should have killed his brother. At any rate, east of Eden, I shouldn't be here. I ought to be wandering around the world instead of sitting here. Well, remember, that was Cain's curse, to wander around the world, marked out. Instead of sitting here on a good farm looking for a wife. There is something wrong, like it didn't get finished. Well, that's life east of Eden. There is something wrong, and Charles didn't finish the murder of his brother as Cain slayed Abel. Like it happened too soon and left something out. It's me should be where you are, and you here. Well, that's really the definition of life in a fallen world. Good things happen to bad people, and bad things happen to good people. I never thought like this before, maybe because it's late. It's later than that. I just looked out, and it's first dawn. I don't think I fell off to sleep. How could the night go so fast? I can't go to bed now. I couldn't sleep anyways. The letter was not signed. Maybe Charles forgot he had intended to destroy it and sent it along. But Adam saved it for a time, and whenever he read it again, it gave him a chill, and he didn't know why. Well, I could guess why it gave him a chill, because Charles basically says he feels like he still has unfinished business with his brother, at least Charles' second personality, his pencil personality. So tuck this away. Read, reread, and reread Chapter 4, Section 2, if you want Steinbeck's key to understanding the novel. Maybe at the end of every book, come back and reread this letter here at the end of Chapter 4.